What kind of present should I buy for Glissade? I'd been so happy that Adage was coming with me that I had forgotten to ask that important question. Glissade is a doctor, so maybe medicinal herbs? I had bought those before. Not that I knew which effect the various bushels had, but I knew which ones were useful to medicine. That shop sells herbs. Come back again. You're always welcome. Thank you very much. I'd asked the familiar shopkeeper for help. In the end, I bought herbs and flowers. I hope Glissade will like this. First dinner with the father-in-law, who doesn't know and is probably wanting to run experiments on me. And maybe use Finn against me as well as a bargaining chip of some sort. I don't know. I got bad feelings about this. I'm like, not looking forward to this dinner. I remember when I was a police officer. About a month into my job, I had bought a present for my parents with my first salary. That's really sweet. It was a beautiful vase with white lilies. My mother loved it. I wasn't going to see my parents again, but I remembered my time with them like it was yesterday. But Adage seems to think differently about his childhood. He always seemed sad and pained when we talked about his childhood. It was obvious he had no good memories of it. I hope they can live like father and son in the future, at least. If they start getting along better. Well, that might be the, sorry, screaming person. That might be the pivotal moment, if you will, for Adage, where his father will acknowledge him if he will help him run experiments on Cyrus. He's got to choose between the well-being of Cyrus and being acknowledged by his dad. There might be an ending where he is like, yeah, I'll experiment on her. I'm like, no. But I'm jumping the gun. We're not there yet. No! That scream! It came from one of the back alleys. Was someone being attacked by the hounds again? It's repeating. I had charged them unarmed. Things would have been bad if Finn hadn't come. There's no guarantee that someone will come to my aid this time. The Sanctuary District was dangerous. I wasn't going to live long if I stuck my nose into everything. I have to ignore this. I had made a decision, but stopped walking. Something tugged at me, pulling me back to help them. I'm a big old fool, aren't I? Well, at least you acknowledge that about yourself. I decided that this time I would prioritize rescuing whoever was being attacked instead of counterattacking. If they needed treatment, I decided I was going to bring them to Adage. That seemed like a good plan to me. Okay, in I go! It's gonna be either Finn or Glissade inflicting the pain. It was still the middle of the day, but the back alleys were as gloomy as ever. I couldn't sense anybody nearby, but everything was so uncomfortably quiet that I felt like I was being watched. Unless Finn saw Cyrus, picked some random passerby and like, I'll just stab them, make them scream until she comes running, and then I'll get her. I don't want to stay here for too long, but I had to help them. I'd made my decision. I haven't heard their voice since then. Are they already dead? That would have meant advancing was futile. No, I have to check this. I steeled myself and walked deeper into the gloom. I heard a sickening sound. Fleshy. And more. I smelled blood and heard the sound of bones breaking. Death was palpable. There doesn't seem to be much hope. I kept walking. There. A man from the hounds was crouching down. Beyond him I could see the bare legs of a woman. The man had probably killed her. Curse them. How can they be so cruel? The man was looking for something in the pool of blood. No. Bones snapped, flesh tore, the disturbing sounds went on and on. Is he dismembering the corpse? Suddenly, the man stood up. I could catch a glimpse of his face. I couldn't tell by the green hair before, but... No. Yep. I knew it was going to come out eventually. So are you working for the good doctor? What are you doing, sir? Finn Euclase. My former partner. That can't be. Why would you? I couldn't believe my eyes. I didn't want to. But I was still transfixed by Finn's blood-stained sight. He was carrying a weapon in one hand and the woman's severed arm in the other. An arm? What are you gonna do with an arm? I took a step back and knocked a pebble over the stone pavement. Finn turned around towards me. Hi, can we pretend that I didn't see any of this? But... why? Cyrus, wait! I ran without stopping or turning around. I can't believe it. I don't want to believe it. I didn't want to believe that he was a murderer. Why, Finn? Well, at least you saw him for who he really was. What are your thoughts on this, sir? What do you think, now that she knows who you really are? The side you've been desperately trying to keep under control. So you are working with Glissade. Working with your own torturer. Interesting.
Oh! Finn, you're late. Did they give you trouble?
I fulfilled the assignment on time.
That's right. But you're always very swift, so I was wondering. Did something go wrong?
Not really. It's none of your business.
So cold. You weren't like that when we met for the first time. But I think it's for the best. Cruelty looks good on you. It shows you have the makings of a hound.
Who cares?
Both arms are in good condition. Very nice. I like your work very much. Your cuts are very clean. I can see no hesitation here in the act of killing and dismembering. I wish I had met you sooner.
I don't care. I'm leaving.
Oh, please, wait. I have another request.
Another?
Yes. Cut off and bring back her ears, will you? I want to look at the oval windows.
I can do that tomorrow, right? I'm tired.
No, it has to be today. Finn, you know why you can move around freely despite being a fresh recruit, right? Whom you have to thank for that.
This is the last one. The last one I'm bringing in for you. Got that?
Yes, of course. I will happily await the arrival of the ears.
Goddamn madman. Is he... Frankensteining a particular person back to life? Or people? Women and children. Has he... I don't know why now. Seems like he's been down here for a while and it's only Oh, wait. Okay. New theory time. Ready? What if Glissade was trying to recreate the family he left behind in the Heights? So, like, Adage as a child and his wife, who presumably probably died either when she gave birth to Adage or when Adage was very young. this is probably something he may have wanted to do for a while, but couldn't until he met Cyrus. And when she told him, oh, I've got this weird blood thing that transfusions don't work on me after the first time. So, is there something in her blood that would allow him to Frankenstein his creations to life? Maybe that's where we're going with this. That'll be really freaky if, we go into the madman's laboratory with Adage and he sees himself as like a small child recreated from other children. Ugh. Is that too dark for this game? Even I don't know. That's where my brain is right now. Like, ugh. We'll find out, though. It's just interesting that he wants specific body parts from different people. It reminds me of Hush from Batman, who was trying to recreate his face to look like Bruce Wayne, and he kept killing certain people so that he could make the right facial structure. We'll see. This one, huh? The doctor had given me a piece of paper with a woman's personal details on it. Name, residence, portrait. She had apparently caught his eye at a supply station. Why is he assembling body parts? I had no idea, but I didn't want to know either. It doesn't matter. All that matters to me is Cyrus. Well, Cyrus is the key to this, so you better save her or something, sir. Or at least stay out of the way when Adage tries to save her. She saw me. She saw something I didn't want her to see, when I least wanted it. What does she think of me? Does she hate me now? Scorn me? Pity me? I don't know. What should I do now? Well, you can always try, like, having a discussion about it, maybe? I don't know if she would listen, but you could write her a letter. Finally, I'm back. I stopped in front of the house and caught my breath. Then I turned around to check that nobody was following me. Finn. I couldn't understand what I'd seen. Perhaps I should have stayed and talked to him. No. There's no way a proper conversation could come from that. This was the right decision. I opened the door, still debating my choice with myself.
Oh, you're back. I'm done. We can leave whenever you... What's wrong? You look pale. Did something happen in the sanctuary district?
I absolutely tell him that you met Finn and he was dismembering people. Absolutely. Oh, that was like the pivotal moment. I didn't... I see. That's gonna lead to a bad ending then. Hopefully I picked the right one. But I mean, you gotta tell him. I saw my old partner dismembering a woman in the streets. He's probably gonna be at dinner tonight, so hey, keep an eye out for that. I was still confused, but I couldn't keep silent. I should talk about what happened in that back alley. I heard screams on my way home.
Screams?
Yes. A woman was screaming. It came from one of the back alleys. I went there to check. I thought I could help her.
Wow. Why do you keep poking your nose into other people's business? What happened next?
The woman was dead. I couldn't help her. The problem is that my old partner was dismembering the corpse.
Dismembering?
Yes. He was holding a knife and the woman's arm when he stood up. He saw me and I got scared, so I ran away.
So that's why you're drenched in sweat.
Adage brushed strands of hair off my cheeks and combed through my hair. I ran away instead of asking for an explanation. He was calling for me to wait.
I'd say it's natural to run away in a situation like that. If you don't feel well, we can cancel the dinner.
No, I'm alright. We said we'd come. I don't want to turn him down.
Alright. Your old partner. He's with the hounds now, right? We might run into him. Stay on your guard. Call me if something happens. I can't do much, but it's better than being alone.
Okay. Thank you, Adage.
Well, let's go.
I was still confused, but having talked to Adage made me feel better. I'm glad he's coming with me. We left the house behind us. His tall frame beside me was reassuring. Aw. Thanks, Boo. Can I have a hand to hold too, please? The sky was beginning to darken by the time we arrived at the Hound's headquarters. We stared at the building and waited for our escort. I don't have good memories of this place.
Few do.
Have you ever been inside?
Once, to write my name on something. You were probably here a few times.
I'm sad to say I was. In the early days, they used to bring me in over all sorts of things.
A place of many memories, then.
Yes. Bad ones, though.
Then you should have this, I think.
Adage pulled something out of the bag. Where the hell did you get a gun, and why did you think it would be a good idea? I mean, it probably is a good idea, but it's also a bad idea to bring it to the Hound's headquarters? Okay. Well, at least he's prepared. This is a gun. I wonder if he wouldn't have brought that if we hadn't told him about Finn. He might have brought it just in case anyway, but...
Yes. A small, light model that women can also use. Release the safety here and pull the trigger to shoot. Take it for self-defense.
He wants us to be safe. Practical. Yep. Thank you, Adage.
Sure. I don't want something to happen to you.
Oh. You don't?
Of course not. You're my assistant. I need you to work for me.
Mostly I pluck weeds for you.
That's a respectable job as well. I hate plucking weeds, but someone has to do it. So I appreciate that. I can't see myself plucking weeds again. I'm too used to not doing it. You'll have to make sure you survive, alright? I need you to stay with me.
Uh-huh. Oh. Okay. Got it. Adage probably doesn't mean anything by it, but... My heart missed a beat when he told me he wanted me to stay with him. I'm an idiot. I know I shouldn't read too much into what he says. I put the gun in my pocket and slapped my cheeks to refocus. Okay, let's do this. Oh, Serena's.
You're early. Adage is with you. Yes, I'm coming with her. Are you our escort? Is there a problem with that? No, I'm just surprised you have time for this. One thing. Until we arrive at Glissad's room, don't talk. Got it?
Oh, okay. Got it.
Good. Follow me.
Socks has ears in the wall. Oh, a new background. You got a bar in here. Very fancy. Wonder if we'll see more of this on Inez's route. Sir Inez led us towards a room that vaguely resembled a cafeteria. He curtly greeted Glissad and left again.
You've come. Who's the man with you?
This is,
I'm Adage.
I was surprised. I hadn't expected him to introduce himself, but...
I see. What brings you here?
I've been wondering, like, is Adage using his real name, or has he used a fake name this entire time, and his name's not actually Adage? Glissade showed no reaction, instead treating him like a stranger. Adage didn't answer and looked away. Perhaps he was too hurt to respond. He's accompanying me. I didn't feel safe coming alone.
I see. You do have a habit of catching Soxen's eye with your lively antics, yes.
I'm not doing it for the fun of it.
Please, sit. I'm sorry I couldn't arrange for a better location or better food.
You don't have a house yourself, you just live here, huh? The location may not have been the best, but he was wrong about the food. The table was decked out in sparkling china and countless excellent dishes. The glasses were filled with red wine. Even in the Heights, this kind of feast would have been rare. It was luxurious in every sense of the word. I swallowed involuntarily. May I really eat?
Of course. The food is here for you. It would have to be thrown away if you don't eat it. Let's not allow it to come to that. Please, eat.
Thank you. What about Adage?
It's fine. I'll stand.
But...
I'm only accompanying you. I wasn't invited.
I see. Well, that's a good excuse to not be poisoned along with me, I guess. I sat down, Glissade in front of me. I would have wanted him to sit with Adage, not with me. I glanced over at him. His expression was still glum.
Is something wrong? Please, eat.
Oh, okay. Thank you. My stomach is in so many knots right now. Time passed as I ate the food and drank the wine. They were excellent. We talked about the Sanctuary District and the depths for the most part. Topics included the ever-cloudy sky, or which shops were cheap. It was small talk. We've never talked about Adage. Why did he even invite me? I don't understand. I wanted to bring up Adage several times, but it felt like I was intruding on their personal sphere. When I looked at Adage, he looks like a marble statue. He's completely closed himself off. I mean, I can't blame the guy. I'd been convinced that they both shared at least a few fond memories, but it seemed like I was wrong. The food was beginning to lose its flavor in my mouth. And you're just gonna let us go. It ended before I realized it. Adage had never talked about himself during dinner. All he had done was hang his head and stare at the food on the table. He hadn't said anything. And Glissade acted like always. He had only ever looked at me and completely ignored Adage. He had only talked to me as well. I don't understand what's going on. What made me even more upset was that I had no idea what I had to do for him. I thought I only had to give them a chance to talk. Maybe I should have brought him up with Adage. I knew that I wasn't supposed to stick my nose into other people's business, but perhaps I had to. If we leave now, we lose this chance. We could still turn around. Adage. He was walking away when I called out to him.
Yeah.
I want you to go and talk to Glissade.
Talk to him?
Yes. Go and talk to him. Tell him you're his son. Once we walk away from here, we lose this chance. Perhaps forever. I can't accept that.
Well, it doesn't really matter whether you accept this or not, because this is my...
Yeah, it's your personal problem. But it's also my problem. I asked you to come here in the first place. I can't just push you inside and see what happens. Let's go together.
Together?
Yes. You can take my hand if this is too hard for you. I'll give you courage. I'm not going to abandon you. I want you to try once again. If we let this chance pass, we'll let the next chance pass as well. We're never going to get what we want. Let's go, Adage. We need to go forward.
I've been standing still for an eternity. You think I can go forward now?
Not very easily, no. But we have to make progress. It's like a lid that got stuck. If you just keep at it long enough, eventually it will open. Please. I'm asking you.
Who's ever heard of a man's life being compared to a lid? You're dumb. But I know how stubborn you are. You're not going to back down, are you?
Are you going?
I'm thinking. I'm scared. I don't want him to spell it out that he doesn't care about me.
We're never going to find out if we don't talk to him. You'd be living your whole life never knowing what he thinks of you. Do you want that?
No. I want some kind of resolution. Okay, let's go. But I don't need your hand, all right? I'm an adult.
Got it.
I'm going to hold your hand, though. I don't want you getting lost.
Got it. That's the same thing in the end. You pig-headed man.
Why?
Nothing. Let's go. I'm gonna hold your hand, but it's not for me, Baka. We went back into their headquarters, walking towards the room we dined in. Glissade wasn't there. Where did he go?
Hey! What are you doing here? This place is off limits to criminals like you.
I was invited by Glissade today. I forgot to tell him something important. Will you lead me to him? I showed the man my invitation. The man was suspicious, but he seemed to accept my explanation when he saw the hound's sigil.
Roger. He ought to be in the medical facilities. Follow me.
Well, at least he was amenable.
Excuse me. Dr. Glissade, you have a visitor. A visitor? Oh, it's you.
The man made sure that both Adage and I had entered the room, then left. The door closed heavily behind us.
What is it? Are you still hungry?
No, the food was plentiful. I bowed in appreciation and looked at him. Glissade was looking only at me. He gave no indication that he had even seen Adage. Is he doing this on purpose? Adage, being who he was, hesitated and kept his eyes on the floor. I have no idea whether I ought to butt in here. I had offered to take his hand, hadn't I? I had to take the lead. Glissade, why are you ignoring Adage?
Adage? Oh, the man over there. I'm not ignoring him. I just have no interest in him.
Even though he's your son? Drop that bombshell. Adage is your son, right?
Adage. 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 Yes. I might have had a son of that name. Might have. The last time I saw him was in the Heights. It was a long time ago.
Glissade looked at Adage with some curiosity.
If you are really my son, then why are you here? To look for you. I see. Congratulations.
But I was shocked by how cold their reunion was. Glissade, this is not acceptable. How can you be so apathetic towards him? He had to endure a lot to meet you. Aren't you grateful at all?
Endure? I don't care. I couldn't have called him here. It means nothing to me. Besides, Priscilla is the one I care about. I don't have time for Adage.
You are trying to rebuild your wife, aren't you? Okay, maybe I was wrong on the small Adage part, but... Priscilla?
Priscilla is dead. She isn't dead! She's not dead. She's my absolute masterpiece. She wouldn't die. I wouldn't let her die.
Glissade?
I'm not going to waste my time on you. If you have nothing else, then leave. Let's go. We did what we came here for. We're not going to get what we hoped for. Let's go home.
Okay. Goodbye, Glissade.
Yes. Goodbye, Cyrus.
What the fuck? What the hell was that? Okay, I think my theory was confirmed, though. Adage and I exited the Hound's facility together. We saw nobody else on the way home. There were no stars in the sky, only gray, discomforting clouds. If I'd known this, I wouldn't have asked him to come. No, girl, you know what? It was good. I'm glad you stubbornly pushed ahead for that, because Adage has been stuck for a long time. He can... I mean, it's not the answer he wanted, but probably one he expected. And at least now he can get some closure. I had pulled him along so he could make some progress, but in the end we'd looked backwards with consternation. I didn't know what to say to him, so I said nothing. Adage eventually started to talk. You tell me about your mom? Oh, your sister? Wait, what? Okay, well that was a twist I wasn't expecting. Okay, please continue.
Priscilla was probably my sister.
Probably?
Yes. I only met her once. I can't say for sure. I was very small. My father brought her home and we ate together. He introduced her as my sister. She was very small, even though she was older than I was. We hardly talked. I can't even remember what she looked or sounded like. But I remember being very happy. My father was very rarely home after my mother died, and I was lonely. We ate like a family. When I was alone, I'd always eat canned food, but that time it was warm. It never occurred to me to ask what she'd been doing or why I hadn't known. I was just happy my family was a little bigger now. A few days after the dinner, my father told me Priscilla had died of a sickness.
Glissade told you that?
Yeah. He denied it earlier, but he said that back then. He said it himself. My father changed as a person after that. He came home even more rarely and finally disappeared. I was put into a temple orphanage. I lived and studied there and decided to be a doctor so I could better look for my father. I thought that if I chose the same profession, maybe there would be clues. It's the only reason I became a doctor. My father disappeared when I was 14. Everything I did since then, I did for this day. And look where we are. He doesn't care about me. This is so stupid.
Adage. I mean, that goes without saying, but it is his dad. I don't think Adage would win our pity. Practically, you still had to meet him. Where are we with you, by the way? We must be getting pretty close. Oh, yes. I still think you had to meet him. Otherwise, you'd always be trapped by the past.
Yes, that's true. I understand what you're saying. But I haven't accomplished my goal. He wants it to end here, but I can't let it.
Your goal? Adage didn't answer and sighed.
Seeing my father wasn't a recent event. I found him soon after arriving here. I've changed a lot since my childhood, but he hasn't changed at all. He looks like he did back then. I didn't have the courage to tell him I was his son. I'd been putting it off all this time. I'm thankful to you. The results aren't very good, but I was able to move forward. Thank you, Cyrus.
His voice was kind when he thanked me, but Adage looked like he was about to cry, and I couldn't feel happy. Both the father and the son are healthy, but they can't find common ground. Why isn't Glissade here for him? Nobody was there to respond to my questions. The silent night passed them back to me unanswered.